Hello everybody and welcome back to another AM racing video. It's been a while, it's been quite a long while since we've had another video, and as you saw from the introduction there, we are in the Manufacturers Cup. This is going to be round 2 at Fuji International, the short circuit. I'm sorry I didn't make a video on round 1, nothing really too interesting happened there. Our best result from round 1 was P3. Which is how I got the 62 points. As you can see right now, most points on offer for this race are 73 at first place. Unfortunately, we don't quite make it there, but let's just jump straight into the qualifying. We'll start heading out of the pits now. In auto drive, I quite like the first person view that Gran Turismo gives you, but only have a single monitor setup. So we are going to use bonnet cam, and that was the first time ever braking coming out of there, so I think we hit our mark pretty good there. Watch that exit in our qualifying laps, because sometimes it's a bit iffy. Watch that exit, sometimes that gets very iffy. You could see before I was just kind of swerving a little bit to warm up the tyres. Gran Turismo actually has wonderful tyre warmers, but it doesn't help. Doesn't hurt to do your own stuff. Anyway, we're going to start qualifying, lap 1 here. Going to be looking to brake just before the curb. We actually have a little black marker that we look for. We did brake a little early there, just not quite confident yet, and we were very late getting onto throttle. And we're going to look to brake just before the Coca-Cola sign clips to the end of our screen, completely missing the apex of that turn. So this is not going to be a good lap at all, and you can probably hear our tyres screeching as we head through there. A little bit of touch on the grass, and that's just sent us off. Not what you want to see, and you know what else you don't want to see? All of that damage. Front bumper, fucking rear bumper, right suspension. We cooked ourselves there. This lap is going to be horrible, and nothing special at all. So let's just skip right ahead to qualifying lap 2. You can actually see, letting you see our run out of that final turn. It was pretty good, so it should be a strongish start to the lap with wow, 1:59. You can see not everyone's completed their qualifying lap yet, but it's going to put us 14 seconds off the top spot. Braking a lot later than before, as we're able to get that car turned in, and you can see we got on throttle much earlier than that lap 1. We're going to be looking for our normal braking zone and hope that we're able to hit the apex with a lot more confidence than we were before, and we can, and we're on throttle. Nice. We can use all of the track on the exit there. Now you'll see, if you look at the throttle map, I'm not quite as confident coming through here. I'm slowing it down so that I don't do what I did before, and I end up braking a lot earlier than the braking zone I had set in my mind was okay. I think the best lap I was able to get here in qualifying was a 1:45.050, which was around about 2 seconds off the pace top in the world. Put me around the 3,000 in the world mark. Not too bad. I'm a B-rated driver, top 9%. So we're going to fling it around here. We're hoping for a really strong lap time, and it's actually seeming not that bad. I remember thinking as I was going through here, oh shit, I actually hooked this up pretty good. You'll see in a second, maybe not as good as I had have hoped. So we try and use all the track on exit there to get on throttle as soon as possible, use as much exit to carry as much speed through this very long straight. And you'll see we're past the time we wanted to get. We want 1:45 for any qualifying lap we're doing here. And that lap is going to put us P10. Here we go. The race will begin shortly in, 5 50 seconds. I'm not going to make you wait that long, but before we get into it, I am going to show you the points that are on offer for this race. So if we stay P10, it's 46 points. Most we can get, as we said before, was 73. Least we can get is 30. I think we're hoping for anything in the top 5. Unfortunately, if you've read the title of this video, things did not go well. But ignoring that, let's jump straight into the first race, as we'll tell you the starting grid lineup. So as you can see here in P1, we have the Porsche that is CC Chang, and P2 we have another Porsche of Max, the Japanese driver. Now lining up P3, we have another Japanese driver, and you guessed it, another Porsche. In P4 we see our first Ferrari, a Japanese driver, yet another Japanese driver, and a Porsche. Another Porsche with Angus, our first Australian driver, and yet another Japanese driver. Then we have in 8 the Toyota 86 Group 4. It's the first one we've seen. Kotaro lines up P9 in that Ferrari. That's ourselves there, a Marshall in the Porsche Cayman, with Japanese driver RE1 in P11. P12 is D Farkane. 13 is T Fazua. What? P14 in the Mitsubishi Lancer is a Japanese driver. Then Takapi in P15 will finish up the back row. If you look at our gearing as we go through here on auto drive, you can see that we're not going up into second gear. That's not sure what was going on with Gran Turismo here. Usually it chucks you up into second gear. It was keeping us in first, and we weren't really paying attention to that as the race started. So you'll actually see when the race begins, we bounce off the rev limiter and we lose a lot of time in the straight. We'll go off in 2, 1. It's lights are green, starting lap 1, and away we go. You can kind of see that we're starting to get a good run. You just could see that I bounced off the rev limiter, and you can see there's a huge gap building for the cars in front, and cars behind are catching up. That Ferrari brakes very early and kind of dives in front of us. We hit them. Luckily, they stayed on track. However, it's not going to mean much, as we're going to lose 2 positions and get a 2-second penalty. As we're coming through here, we're going side by side with the Ferrari. We're just ahead, so we're just gonna try and slide through, not make any huge mistakes. And yeah, we slot in front. It was nice of him to give me room. He kind of backed out, which was, I was very appreciative of that fact. Taking it a bit wide through there and making sure we can hit that apex. Ferrari might have been looking to go around the outside. We're not really going to let it happen. So we're able to get on throttle nice and soon. You can see there's a big gap between the cars ahead and I think, 1.5-ish seconds. However, what you're about to see is I'm able to take this corner a lot better than the cars in front. That's really hooking that up a lot better than I was in qualifying, and we actually gain 0.3 of a second coming through there. Contact ahead puts the Ferrari of Kotaro onto the grass, which is going to slow down a run, as P11 is swerving left to right as T Farkana. And the more contact goes through there, as we're going to kind of slot ourselves onto the inside as Kotaro takes a very wide line. I'm fairly sure he's prioritizing an exit there. However, it's not really going to matter that much, as we're able to get on the throttle nice and soon, which keeps him slotted behind. Not really going to mean much now, however, as I take my 2-second penalty. Going to have a quick look behind to see how many positions I'm most likely going to lose. That's our first position down, and that's going to be our second position down. Starting lap 2, now P14. It's 4 positions down from where we started. Now, funny thing about this here is braking zone doesn't really change much. We'll take a look at that radar there, as we've got a driver diving in on our inside there. We're going to leave him room just so that we don't take one another out. He's just going to slot in behind now. It was very close, a little too close for comfort, but understandable. Cutting that very fine on both entry and exit. Wouldn't be surprised. Wow, a second. It's a very big slowdown for what I think is not much of a track cut. This first race really didn't go our way at all. It was super unfortunate. We'll skip to a little later in this lap. You can see I've caught up to T Fakazawaka. What? You can really see Kotaro. He's, wow, really inconsistent coming through here. Just left, right, and center. I think there was a little bit of contact. We saw some smoke there, as we're going to get a much better exit as Kotaro and Fukazawa. We'll just call that. We're able to, get in front. But again, it's the penalty. The penalties are costing us. And we're going to slip back into P14. We're not going to lose anything too terrible, as now we will start lap 5. Not really sure what to say here, nothing special. Just making sure that we avoid Kotaro as he's been spun. Really know what you want to see. But we are improving our lap times. We're going to get that, maybe not quite the apex we wanted to see there, but our Japanese friend in front took too much of that curb. Alright, we'll skip to a little later in this lap. You can see, like, it's 0.5 second penalty. Don't really want to be doing too much. It's pretty safe to stick behind, just because you know that they're going to lose time. But we kind of fling it around the inside, just because we didn't want to lose any time going through there. Looking at this replay here, you can see how, like, on the limit I was, cutting through the grass. I think you can just see a little bit of contact. You can hear the contact as well. It wasn't the cleanest. It was just... It was really just a send. We were going through there faster. I thought I was entitled to that. I probably wasn't entitled to any space there. Thank you to the Japanese driver for giving us the room to make sure that neither of us died going through there. Anyway, that was where we finished. Nothing too special in that race, P12. So we're just going to hard cut you to race 2 in lap 1 of qualifying. Race 2, I think you'll see over the 3 races that we did, we're constantly improving. It's been pretty bad racecraft so far. Pretty questionable things. We're going to hit that apex nicely, and I think it was pretty solid on the throttle. There's certainly room to improve. I mean, looking at the best guys, there's at least 2 seconds in it that we can get better at, and that's an example of where we can get better. It was the same as last time. I'm just missing that apex on the first turn, so it's in the second turn rather. It's completely ruining my run. So we'll take a look at lap 2 of qualifying. Technically lap 3, but come on, are we really going to count the outlap? Going at our usual braking zone, we're kind of going to approach this nice and wide, take lots of curb, so that we can get on throttle as soon as possible. There's a little bit of rear slippage there. That's going to hurt our run coming through here. But we're still up on time, and the only thing that's really going to hurt our run is missing that apex, which we still do. We go out wide there, and it's probably going to be a penalty. You'll see in a minute. Yep, there you go. 0.5 seconds, so that is that lap ruined. So you can really see there's a weakness that I have in these qualifying sessions. So we're going to go with our first lap, which I think put us pretty far down the order, but let's go with this here. Starting P1 is the Japanese driver, P2 is another Japanese driver in our first Citroen, P3 Bowers, an Australian driver in the Porsche, Hata P4 in another Porsche. Then we see our first Subaru WRX of this race, the MR Dragonfly, starting P5. Then P6 it was Jimma 31, yet another Australian driver. P7 a Japanese driver in the Renault, I'm not going to pronounce that name. P8 is Aki in a Porsche, yet another Porsche with Mesmer. Then we have P10 Hawk. Someone needs to tell me what that flag is. Moose Snuckle, love that name. An Australian driver in the Mustang with a Nissan GTR lining P12. P13 is myself here with the Porsche, as you've seen before. Mazda Group 4 with P14 with the Japanese driver, another Japanese driver, P15. And P16 closing out the grid is FSR Goose, the other Australian driver in this lobby. You can see we're kind of a mix of mostly Australian and Japanese. This is the Oceania service that you have to really get to know and love. If you take a look at our rev limiter here, just revs and gear and speed and stuff, you can see it's put us in a second gear this time. So nice and fun. Good to see. It's inconsistent, not really sure why GT7 does that, but here we are. So we're going to take a look and we go on in 2, 1, lights go green and away we go. You can see we're getting a kind of good-ish start. The Porsche doesn't really have the kick off the line as you can see the other cars have. However, it does have a straight line speed advantage over, say, the Nissan or the Ferrari. So we're going to brake at our usual point. Kind of going to dive it in, see if we can make any move here. We take it past the Nissan, but it's going to be a fairly easy switchback, and we've got terrible run going through here. The Japanese driver in that Mazda is going to be able to push on through. We hit that apex, but I think we had to slow down quite a bit to be able to hit the apex, so you can kind of see we're very far off that pack now. However, they're going very wide through here. It's not really what you want to do. It's kind of a double apex situation. You can see exiting that corner, we're going to get a lot closer. There's contact going through there, as I think we're braver on the throttle. It's going to let us get a better run through here. However, you can just see we're starting to lose time, as I think maybe a little bit of bump drafting was happening, and we were just out of that slipstream. We're going to take a look on the inside here. We brake actually a lot later than I thought we would, as there's contact with the Nissan. We're going to end up going off track. I'm so sorry to that Nissan driver. We stay P13 effectively. We've just taken out a driver. You can see there contact as we kind of go off that curb, and we're flicking ourselves up and down. We had a little jump going off the sausage curb. I'm so sorry to that Nissan driver. Not really sure what the thought process through there was. Lane braking is fine, but there's a point in which it just becomes dangerous, and I should not have put my nose into the Nissan there. As you can see through here, we're prioritizing all of that line coming through there. We're not getting a good run at all. That Porsche in front of us is going to be able to power on ahead. I think the only reason we didn't get a penalty there, because it is technically out of track limits, is because we were a bit later to get onto the throttle. We're going to start lap 2 here. No big annoying black box to tell us it's lap 2, but it doesn't really matter, as that Porsche driver is going to take a defensive line. We're maybe going to take a look around the outside, but Porsche, he turns in very late, which is an amazing defensive move. You know, it means that I can't turn in unless I'm going to hit him, which I can't do. But as you saw before, how clean am I really trying to be in this race? We're able to throw it around that turn a lot quicker than that Porsche driver is. We're maybe going to take a little look on the inside, but just turn it back. There's no point spinning out another driver in this race. I'm sure there's plenty more spinning out that's going to happen. A little bit of contact there as we're braking a little later, and there's more contact on the exit, which is going to let that Porsche actually take off like a lot faster than us. His gain time, we've lost time due to that contact, which should mean he's going to have the run up on the Mazda in P12. We're going to take our usual braking zone just to avoid hitting the Mazda. We're not going to be able to turn in as quickly, which means we're going to completely miss the apex. We've lost time in front, we've lost time to the car behind, and we broke super early, super uncomfortable going through there, which is not what you want to see at all. Taking a really wide line here, I was a little spooked at the car on the inside. I was very worried he'd take a look. Putting one tyre almost into the grass, as there's a little bit more contact made, as we're not able to get ourselves turned in as much. We're going to cut like the smallest amount to lap 3, where we've got the Moose Knuckle, I believe that's our friend in the Mustang, is we're going to be able to like really dive it onto the inside, as Moo is going to brake super early and leave that door wide open, so you know we're just going to slip right on through. Really, it was the move was kind of on. There was a little bit of contact. It was maybe a little unfair, but he left the room. I dived in. I made the apex first. You know, we'll cut on later into lap 3, where you can see we've got a driver going off into the side, which is going to give us P10, as we've caught up to that pack in front. It's the only really interesting thing that happens there. I just wanted to highlight that fact. Pretty decent run going through there, as we're just going to skip ahead now to lap 6. got a 1 second penalty, which we're going to serve, and we are going to lose time, significant time. It's going to put us back down into P11. I think, we'll skip ahead to lap 7. What a hard cut. Take a quick look behind at Moose Knuckle, who's gaining quite rapidly down that straight. We're going to take our usual braking zone, kind of nicely whip it around. We could have been on throttle a bit sooner there. But look, nothing interesting's happened. We're kind of in a car sandwich. 3.8-ish seconds to the car in front, 3.8 seconds to the car behind. We're really in the middle of two different packs. Yeah, nothing interesting happened after lap 7. A little bit of a scare with Moo really making time up on us, but you can see over the course of the race we were able to really hook it up. There you go, we're going to finish the race P11. There is one more race to go, so we'll get straight into race 3. This was a fairly good race, I suppose. Fairly unfortunate, as we'll dive straight into qualifying. We're gonna wait to go out, see if we can get a little bit of clear air. I know it's a thing of like, maybe you want to be in the slipstream of the car in front, but pace is fairly iffy coming through here. My pace was really not that great at all. You're gonna see, if you looked at the track map, someone was pretty close, but they backed off. Qualifying lap 2, if you look up in the kind of middle of the screen in the right hand corner, you can see I completely bottled lap 1, and we consistently nail that first sector. That puts us instantly on time to get a 145, potentially a 144. We're just not quite as good as hooking up the rest of the lap, I suppose, which is fairly unfortunate because we've shown that we clearly have quite a bit of pace going through here. It's all about hooking this up. You shouldn't go as wide on that exit there. See if we can clip the apex nice and hard coming through here. Yeah, we can. That's pretty much perfect. It's how you want to take that corner. Maybe you can take it faster, but that's how you want your car to go over that curb there. We'll take a look at this one here. Braking. Yeah, we're braking nicely. We're turning in nicely, and we're getting on throttle fairly early, which is what you want to see. We also want to see a 145 lap time, and we'll see if we get that. Exiting that corner there, we're a little late to go onto the throttle, as we're going to make our way down this very long straight. I think it's technically the only straight, but it's not the only flat section. So you can see there we would be starting, the furthest up the grid that we have so far. We're going to get you straight into a cinematic mode as we are waiting for the lights to go green. And the lights go green, and off we go, starting lap 1 here at Fuji International Speedway. We've got I remember we got a fairly good run on the Alfa Romeo because it kept us in first gear, and I don't think the Alfa was expecting it. And after that first race, we were watching that heavy, as it looks like the Mercedes took a look around the outside. So it looked like I took a look around the outside. Take a look at that radar there. We're all super close, very bunched up, as GF 82234 is really going to take that slow. You can see he got onto the brakes, so we kind of dived to the outside to try and get a good run. It's not going to work, but that AMG opened up the door for us, slamming GF to the outside. However, we're on the outside of this turn. We're able to stick it in front of Mr. King-san, but we're not able to make anything on GF. We do get a better run out of there though, and we're in the slipstream. So we're gonna take a look into this turn here. You can see I kind of back off, but GF is gonna miss his braking zone. He's gonna go off into the grass, and that's just gonna let us go straight into P9. So now that we're in P9, we just need to focus on catching P8 in front. They were able to make a second up on us while we trailed behind GF. We'll skip right ahead to lap 3, where we've made up that 1 second gap. And you can see 7th and 6th ahead of us now. 6th having that 0.5 second penalty. We're going to look to the inside of 7th here. He's just going to block it off. He's going to go out super wide. It's going to give us space to go around there. So we're able to go up to P6. We were kind of in a straight line speed battle with the Ferrari that we probably would have lost if he didn't have that 0.5 second penalty. So we've pretty confidently got P6 now, as we're going to start lap 4. If you take a look at that radar down the bottom there, you can see that P7 really looked like he was going to dive in on us, and I remember that completely threw me off. So our exit through there was not quite what you want to see, as we've got John on our right. He's going to really be pressuring us to go through here. We are able to get that apex, but we just don't have the speed. And John was going to keep it, to our right. He tried to rejoin the track, and you could see there he just made contact with our front. That was going to send him off. GMR crash. He's taken a dive down the inside there, but I've prioritized my exit, and you can see that's put us right next to each other. Me actually being able to make the overtake. I'm on the outside here, but technically I was marked as staying in front. You can see at that radar we've gone 3 wide. There's a contact here, there, and everywhere. GMR is able to keep that 6th position. However, if you watch now, I've lost 4 positions going through there. Down from, I've gone from P6 to P10, as GF is going to be ahead of us. Take a look at the replay here, so you can see that dive on the inside, as I'm going to stick it next to him. Not really sure what happened here. I mean, that's Mercedes just had a mega run going through there, and you could see he made it 3 wide. This is not a turn where you could go 3 wide. I tried to stay nice and wide. GMR crash, just knocking into the Mercedes, and which sent him flying off into us. Pretty unfortunate. I think I was just a bystander there. But I mean, what can you do? Taking a look around the outside of GF, but nothing really is going to be able to stick, so we're just going to slot behind. Use all of the use all of the exits, use all of the apex at this corner here, making sure we're able to get as much speed through as possible. You can see GMR went very far off the racing line there. He ended up losing 3 positions, going extremely wide through that turn. I guess what goes around comes around. He sent me off into P10, so he sent himself off into P9, WGMR crash. There's a little bit of bump drafting happening here, as I am going to take a look down the outside. Heavy contact, GMR crash and GF going through there. We were I remember thinking here, we were hoping GMR would get 2-second penalty. If you remember that first race, I got 2 seconds for slamming into someone just like that, except the person I slammed actually stayed on track, and I still got a penalty. GF did not stay on track. He's around a second behind us now. Fairly unfortunate for that driver. Could have been a pretty tight battle, however, it's just not going to be. We prioritise hitting the apex as cleanly as possible there, which is going to put us right behind GMR. I think clearly you can see that Audi has a lot more pull-off speed than the Porsche. It's a fairly common thing. The Porsche maybe doesn't have the best takeoff speed, but it has a straight line advantage. So you'll see going onto the back straight, oftentimes what happens is we'll lose time off the exit, and we'll make up time towards the end, just because we're able to go so much faster with our gearing. Unfortunately, the final nail in the coffin, losing time to GMR, was when we went off track there. As you look in the radar there, you can see we've put ourselves right next to GF, who looks like he's going to make a move around the outside and just completely backs out of it, slowing down the car so much, which is going to, keep him behind. And unfortunately for him, he's not going to get the greatest run. You can see, I think you pronounce that name maybe Zoe. Zoe was able to get alongside. And you can see now as we skip ahead to lap 6, Zoe was able to make the move, as we're going to take a defensive line to make sure that they are not able to make a move on us. We really want to keep this P9. You can see though a lot more speed going through here. We're going to brake early just because we're on that inside line. We're going to prioritize our exit here, make sure that we use all of the curbing. Zoe, you can hear there just a little bit of rear slippage. You can see it on the radar as well. Started fishtailing a lot, which is going to, make a lot of time between us, as I actually get the best exit out of there that I have gotten so far. We're going to skip right ahead to lap 10. You can see we're in that car sandwich around about the same time on the delta between P8 and P10. We've really caught up to the back of them. Just unfortunately, so little lap time left, so little laps left with, on the back end of the lap. We're just not going to be able to make anything stick here, and we're losing significant time going through this entire section, which isn't what you like to see, but I would have commended myself if I was able to make up 1.4 seconds in 4 turns anyway. We are going to go onto the back straight for the final time in P9. You can see ahead P7 and 6, they're right on one another's tail, doing the final fight to the line. A little bit of dirty stuff was happening there, but what can you do really? We're going to celebrate with some little swervies as we finish with our best result of the day. P9. Thank you so much if you have watched this far. If you have watched this far and you're not already, why not subscribe? Please like as well. See ya.